morning, Internet. So today I wanted to... You know it's always bad whenever somebody knocks on the door during one of these videos because all the fucking personalities on this channel are fucking stupid and I hate them.
Oh, hello, the person that controls my very existence and can delete me off the face of this planet if you so wish. How art thou today?
I'm getting a very weird vibe from you, Agatha. Did somebody say subscribe to T-Series during one of your church services or something?
Goodness, no. I am not in such shambles that I feel I have failed as a pastor of the Church of our Lord. My problem is quite minuscule in comparison to such horror.
Oh, good. It's no big deal then. Do you want to, borrow a book for your solo video that you're working on or something?
Now, I think I have all the resources I need for that video, but I would like to ask for your advice on something because you have technically been on this planet for longer and you do have some wisdom that I don't.
Oh my god, did you just say something humble?
I am not your past incarnation. I am capable of some perspective, you know.
Okay, then what is it?
What is the point of existence if we are all going to die in the end? Does life even matter? What are we supposed to do even if it's all going to fade at some point? What is life anymore? What is the meaning to all of this?
Did you just say this problem is smaller than a person saying subscribe to T-Series?
Yes?
Sit down! We got work to do. So I recently rewatched the last season of The Good Place, which concluded with the idea that humans kind of need a form of death in any way, shape, or form in order to truly give life meaning. That was the whole philosophical agenda of the ending, and I agree with that sentiment. I think human lives in particular need to end in order to give it meaning, but I do think that the cycle of the universe, even life, is so large that it may as well be infinite. The universe may be finite, or I guess finite in its existence, but at the very least, all the stuff in the universe was there since before the Big Bang, so in a way the cycle of things is forever, right? And thus the cycle of existence will go on forever and ever, and even the cycle of life will go on for so long that it may as well be forever, and we are just a tiny link in an infinitely growing chain that will grow infinitely less significant no matter how significant your life was when you were on Earth. You will eventually be forgotten. It is inevitable. What was I talking about? I ended up getting out of this funk because, well, in essence, I had YouTube videos to make, so I just kind of dumped all that stuff onto Agatha and just kind of ignored it and brushed it off because I wasn't in too deep.
Wow, you are such a good friend and a creator for saying such things.
Shut it, Agatha.
You do realize that I literally cannot do that because that would be out of character and you want me to stay in character. I will not stop talking for as long as PewDiePie is our Lord and Savior.
For once, you actually make a good point. I did start thinking about the cycle a lot and how weirdly poetic it could be. Without going into too much detail, I wrote about this character that I call the Red Girl for reasons that I don't think I can explain right now. She lived her life without knowing how to enjoy it, and then for a very brief period, she met a person that allowed her to start living on the edge of a system that prevented her own happiness, and then he just kind of left in the middle of nowhere, and then that little brief stint of happiness just kind of faded because it fell into the background of all the monotonous cycles that made up her life. What was this video about? Expect me to do that a lot throughout this video. The idea of the Red Girl consumed me for a period of time, but I was able to pull myself out of that semi-existential crisis because I wasn't in too deep, but I wonder who is.
Oh yes, you certainly don't know anybody that is in too deep for 2 weeks while you were reading Camus. Thank you for that. You know that I absorb any information that you intake, and you know that I was in this mental state, and yet you just had to do such a thing. You're so nice.
Use a fictitious. Please go away, please.
Fair.
Okay then. She's got problems. Agatha, you may want to listen to this next part. Philosophically, there are a few major schools of thought about why we shouldn't fear death or be scared of death in some way or another. Either justifying mortality, saying why the fact that we die is a good thing, or predicting immortality, saying that this mortal plane isn't the only plane of existence and there's some part of us that will live on indefinitely. That second idea is called dualism, the idea that human bodies are made out of a duo of things, the physical and the spiritual, which is like either an essence or an astrological projection or something like that. There are a lot of interpretations. It's like saying we have PewDiePie, but we also have Felix Schellberg. PewDiePie is an exaggerated version of who Felix really is, and Felix is just Felix. PewDiePie can live on forever through the videos, and because it's a personality but not a real human being, whereas Felix is just Felix, a person, whereas PewDiePie is more of an idea. The first argument, which is one that predicts immortality, is the argument from various religions. Basically, the idea is, oh, life does have meaning, because if you follow the rules of insert religion here, you'll get forever in paradise / 72 virgins or spiritual awakening or be reincarnated as a higher being. God, religions are so dry. Why can't we have cool things so I don't fall asleep in chapel? Why can't we have like Buddhist ninja turtles or like Hindu pirates or Christian Power Rangers and like Islamic superheroes and stuff? Do I think the phrase Christian Power Rangers is a bit too much? Yes. Do I regret it? No. Bernard Williams, who is an English philosopher best known for his criticism of utilitarianism, big word, I know, you don't have to know what it means, it does not matter. He says that death is the thing that gives life meaning instead of God, because if you live on forever, then there really wouldn't be a purpose, there wouldn't be passion for anything, you wouldn't have to choose what you do with your life. Essentially, you would just end up doing everything, so every human life would end up becoming the same.
But how do you choose those things? What if one of those things for me is something that will come in the future so distant I will never see it?
Jesus, you never get happier, do you? Well, the choice is up to you.
But I don't want to choose because I might choose wrong. Can I just have somebody make my choices for me?
You do have someone making your choices for you.
Of course, we worship our Lord PewDiePie, but I wish there was somebody more directly that could...
Agatha, PewDiePie isn't your god. He doesn't even know you exist because you kinda don't.
Gee, thank you for pointing that out. I am lucky to have such a good friend to rely on in my time of need.
You little bastard, I do exactly what you want someone to do.
What intonation?
I make your choices for you because you are a scripted character in a YouTube video.
We have already established that, but what if my purpose is for you to program my personality into a computer program that will not exist until the future, at which point I will have free will because that might be part of what my destiny is?
This video is officially too meta! Right, so Agatha's situation here is created by the fact that she thinks she'll be missing out on the future. Ironically, the Greeks of all philosophers are the philosophers that talked about this the most. Epicurus said that because we aren't having a mental breakdown about not experiencing things that happened in the past, we shouldn't have a mental breakdown about not experiencing things that were in the future. Especially when you are a fictional character and you technically live forever because you don't technically live. Of course, the past is mostly known and mostly worse than the present, which means the future is going to be a lot better than the present, and none of us will be there to experience it because we'll all be dead. Anyway, but going back to the first point I talked about, religions have spent so much time trying to cure existential crises. I mean, look at Agatha. She's mega religious, albeit she worships PewDiePie, but it's the same thing in essence. She's prone to existential crises, so she needs that kind of support system in her life. If you think life has no meaning because it ends, then the promise of infinite life if you do good things is a moral motivator, albeit a slightly questionable one because it's morality out of selfishness. But you know what, I can make a whole other video about this, so I'm not going to get into all that religion stuff right now. The point is, religions offer a vast array of answers to the whole existential crisis thing.
So what you're saying is that I was an angsty teenager in ancient times, and an ancient parent had to make them feel better by telling them all of these things, even though they would cause terrible...
Agatha, I know you're as much of an atheist as me, but I'm gonna stop you right there before you start going off on anti-religious tangents like me from the past.
But we must shed light on on.
Jesus fucking Christ, this video is gonna get dislike bombed by Christians just like the Crash Course YouTube channel, aren't they? By the way, Christians watching this, if you dislike bombed the videos about Christianity and stuff in the Crash Course YouTube channel because they were secular and objective, why? Seriously, guys, they're just trying to teach people. Come on. What was this video about again? Oh, right. Existential crises. Fun. Of all religions, though, I think Buddhism definitely has the most interesting and most effective take for people like Agatha that are very deep into their existential crises. I know many of you are screaming at me right now, being like, Ash, it's a philosophy. It's not a religion. And for that, let me tell you a little something. Religions are defined in the philosophy world as something that has most or all of its moral doctrine or doctrine in general based upon something related to faith, i.e. something that isn't evidence-based, rather a trust in the doctrine. Buddhism's core belief system is based on a belief in reincarnation, which isn't a scientifically based thing, so it is based on faith in a way. So in a way, some parts of Buddhism are religions, the more literal versions, whereas people like maybe Zen Buddhists would refer to reincarnation as a more metaphorical thing. For those of you right now that are saying that meditation is scientifically proven to help our health, that's not the fucking point here. Right, let's get to it. Religion or no, Buddhism provides an amazing way to get out of these existential crises. Essentially, Buddhist doctrine indicates that all life is suffering because we get attached to things on Earth. We want things, we have desires. And because we want things, we reincarnate into new lives because our souls don't believe that they're finished on Earth in a way. Disclaimer, again, like every other religion slash philosophy to ever exist, Buddhism is vast, it is complicated. I cannot cram 2,500 years of stuff into a single YouTube video. I'll leave some resources in the description if you want to read more about it. Again, this is by no means comprehensive. Buddhists, please don't get mad at me. This is purely for those Buddhists that are more literal based, not the more metaphorical kind.
So, Buddhism will cure my crisis.
Agatha, what are you doing?
It doesn't seem to be working.
That's actually kind of offensive. Could you stop for a moment?
I am forgetting about the fact that we are all dying. Nope, it's not working. What is the problem here?
What? Stop. Just stop right now.
Okay.
Basically, if we don't want things anymore, then we don't get sad when we lose them. The aim is to just kind of not care in general. This idea is amazing when you're in a funk like Agatha, when you want to forget the fact that we're all dying. This idea is amazing. But I'd like to issue a small warning here. Overdosing on any single philosophy is dangerous, especially a slightly more minimalistic and non-deontological one like Buddhism. At the end of the day, we just kind of have to live with the unique insanity of being here. And sometimes it's good to care about things and have a drive for things. Otherwise, you might piss off your friends for not caring about important things or...
Okay, first you ruin my condition further, then you tell me how to get out of this funk, and then you destroy that reason.
Not faulty, Agatha. I'm just saying it can be detrimental to base your life off of a single philosophy rather than a more nuanced selection.
Fuck nuance! It can go jump off a microwave! I want you to tell me the best philosophy right now!
Well, I don't know what to tell you, Agatha. Every single philosophical system is flawed. Every single one of them can turn you into an asshole if you aren't careful, especially more minimalist ones like hedonism or Buddhism.
Fuck that! If you can't do it now, then I will just have to force it out of you!
What? Ah! Signing off! Signing off!
Good evening, Internet. Could you hand me a log for the fireplace? It's mostly just ash burning there now.
End card, good morning, denizens of the internet. I just buried Agatha in a cave full of cheese and microwaves that she can yeet herself off of. If you haven't already noticed on my channel, I have a podcast now. Is that the right place? I don't know. I am not editing this yet. It's a cool thing where me and a couple friends write a light novel together and document the entire process. We only got started with episode 1. It's going to be every other week, published on Tuesdays because we record on Mondays. Okay, now for real, this is PDB Ash, signing off.